Hello there, and welcome to another episode of, sorry, I'm just adjusting the camera a little bit, to Julie the Knitter podcast. This is episode number 8. Today is Friday, February 16th, 2018, and I'm coming to you from Queens, New York, where I live with my handsome husband, my 2 crazy kids, and my wild beast of a dog. You may notice that I am doing an episode a little earlier than I normally do. I try to put out an episode every other week, but my daughter has no school next week, and we're actually going to be going away for a few days, so I figured I might as well get an episode out early, since I've got a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about, and instead of making you wait another 2 weeks. So here we are. This is a podcast mainly about knitting and my waxing poetic about any crafty endeavors that I happen to be involved with during the week. So, I hope you guys are all doing well. Welcome back to any returning viewers, and a great big hi there to anybody new. Here we are. Today is Friday. I'm a little bit out of my routine today. My mom was with us this week, so I had a cup of tea before I even brought the kids to school this morning, which normally doesn't happen because I usually just go, we gotta go. I don't have time for a cup of tea before I leave. And this morning I did, and I just feel like a little fast forward. I'm a little out of my normal pace. So bear with me today, but I have some fun things to talk about. I do not have any finished objects for you guys this week. I didn't finish anything new, but that's okay because I did get a lot of knitting done. I had been working, I know I talked about this last week, on my Songbird Mittens, which is a pattern by Heusser, and I am knitting these up out of 2 colors. The main color I'm using is the Perfect Stitch Fibre Company in their Gumba base, which is 100% Superwash fine merino wool, and it is in the Cookies and Cream colorway, which I showed you a little bit last week, and it's just this creamy white with black speckles inside, and it's really soft, and I'm really liking it. I'm alternating that with, I don't even know if that's the right word, I'm contrasting, because my contrasting color is this real dark color, which is, it's like a real dark charcoal gray, but it's got these blue and green undertones to it, and that is from Ginger Twist Studios in their Ginger's hand dyed Masham Mayhem 4-ply, which is a 75% BFL and 25% British Masham blend, which is really soft and really warm. And the colorway is Hocus Pocus. But I finished the first mitten. It's not blocked, but all my ends are woven in, my thumb is on, and it's beautiful. It does need to be blocked. It's a little lumpy and bumpy, which I don't know if you can really tell. Maybe you can tell a little bit, but that will mostly even out in the blocking. So the front has this really nice bird pattern on the front, and last week I think I had just finished the cuff. I like the way it came out. The pattern, when you look at the picture on the pattern, it actually has the colors reversed. It has a dark colored bird with the light background, but I like the dark background better. And the other side is this nice pattern there. I want to call it damask, but I don't know if that's the right word for it, which is on the back of the thumb, and on the front of the thumb it's got like this little flower here. It's nice. It's very nice. It's really cozy. My daughter is eyeing them and trying not to. I've been telling her, you can't steal them. Your hands aren't big enough yet. But, you know, someday when your hands are a little bit bigger, and if they last that long, you're more than welcome to them. I did have, for whatever reason, I could not get my head around the thumb gusset increases and the pattern for it. I don't know what the problem was. It just wasn't working for me. So I kind of just winged it. I kept the increase pattern going, but I didn't do the way the color work goes. Mine, I kind of just alternated every stitch, whereas I think the pattern has you alternate the stitch like every other row. either way, I like the way it came out. I'm going to have to remember to do that for the second one. Chances are I won't be able to figure out the color work pattern for the second one either, because that's just the way it goes sometimes. I've been on a real color work kick in the last few months. This has been one of a few patterns, and coming from somebody who doesn't do all that much color work, mostly because I say, oh, well, you know, it's really hard, I'm not really that good at it. Well, the only way you get better at things is by practicing them, so I'm doing that. And I know, you know, some people like to see the floats, so I'm turning it inside out so you can see the floats. This is the palm side. This is the front of your hand side. I don't know what you call that. But there you go. I finished this mitten, I think I wove in all the ends yesterday. And I did start the second mitten this morning. I'm not very far along with it. Hold on, it's at the bottom of the bag. I'm having one of those days where I've probably taken out this particular row that I'm working on the cuff 5 times already, because maybe it's because I'm tired today. I can't seem to follow the chart. I see the colors on the chart and I see the pattern and I'm like, okay, this is what I have to do. But by the time I get to the end of the row, I'm like, oh, something's off. So I have to take it out and do it again. Oh, I missed that stitch. That stitch there was supposed to be that color. Oh, right, let me take it all out. So I probably knit this row a few times this morning. I'll give it another go later on today. Maybe the caffeine will help. I hope so. But those are my Songbird mittens. I'm really eager to wear them. How do I say this without jinxing ourselves? I don't love winter. It's cold here in New York in winter, and these feel really good. I'm okay with not having all that many cold days left, because, you know, hey, it's February. My husband has been telling me for the last few weeks, oh, winter's over. And all I can sit there and think to myself is, I have spent way too many St. Patrick's Day parades in blizzard conditions. So it's not over till it's over. So as much as I'm pretty okay with the weather staying where it is. Well, it's a little warm right now. It's 60 degrees, which I like, but it's not February. I live in New York. I like my 4 seasons. But I'd really like a chance to wear my mittens before the winter ends. It's been a bit colder upstate where my parents are, and I'm going to be there next week, so maybe I'll have these ready in time. Maybe. We'll see. It'll be close. I don't know if they'll be ready in time. I don't know. But those are my colorwork Songbird mittens. Trying to think if I had anything else to say about them. Right now, I think they're pretty good. Happy to get that second one going on the needles. I'm knitting it up on a size 2, doing magic loop. I haven't decided whether I like doing magic loop or DPNs better for color work. I think it depends on the needle. I like the point that I'm using. I'm using Addy Lace needles, and they've got a real good sharp point, which is good with this kind of stuff. But sometimes the cord, they're kind of old needles, so I'll put it that way. Those needles, I've probably had them for the last 10 years rather, using them. But, so the cord's a little kinky. Sometimes it's not as flexible as I like. But sometimes with DPNs, I don't know, I use DPNs on thumb. My size 2 DPNs don't have as good of a point. I'm using just bamboo clover ones, and which you can get at any craft store. They're like, you know, the bottom of the barrel. Maybe not the bottom of the barrel, but they're, you know, just cheap needles, and I don't love the point for color work. I don't know. One of these days I'll find the perfect needle. I'm not there yet. But that's all I have to say about that project. Next up on the docket, I cast on a pair of vanilla socks. Because because sometimes I found with that mittens pattern that I really have to pay attention to what I'm doing, and they're not the most portable, take anywhere project, because sometimes you can't give that much thought, or it's dark out, or what have you. So, you know, when I'm picking my daughter up in the evening, you know, I'm usually knitting while I'm waiting, and I found that there's just not enough light at the time to be working on that, and I have to think too hard. So I needed something a little bit easier. So I cast on a pair of vanilla socks, which, you know, I've always got a pair of socks in the work. I feel like I'm not me if I don't have a pair of socks going. So I haven't decided yet whether these are going to be for me or for my daughter. I knit both of our pairs of socks, a 56 stitch round sock. They fit me nicely. They've got a bit more positive ease for her, and that's the way she likes her socks. That's the way she likes most everything. But the yarn I'm using is, checking my notes, it's by Mustache Yarns. It is the Perfect Sock Self-Striping Yarn. It is an OCD skein, which are two 50-gram skeins that are completely identical. So if you are like the way I am sometimes, and it drives you crazy that your socks don't quite match up, these are the skeins for you, because they are both start at the same spot. I think that's brilliant. I don't know why more dyers don't do that. But it's actually a really nice yarn. It feels really sturdy. It's a superwash yarn. Do I have the tag here? Let me see what the fiber content is. It is 75/25 superwash merino and nylon. It is fingering weight, about 440 yards in the entire 100-gram skein. The colorway is Rey. This was part of her limited edition Part 2 Jakku Star Wars yarns that she put out a few years ago. I think it came out around the same time that episode 7, The Force Awakens, came out. It's been in my stash so long. I've been waiting to knit it on for ages. And like I said, I haven't decided whether or not this pair is going to be for me or for my daughter. I like the colors a lot. I like that there's like this one solid stripe. It's like a tan with a bright turquoise and tan again. And in the middle, it's got like all these little, I guess, variegated. I don't know what to call it. It's not quite speckled. It's got some speckles and it's got some variegated aspects. And I just like that. And I like the colors in it. There's light grays, and there's this dark gray, and there's a little bit of orange, and this tan color. And I like the way it's working out. I just did my standard vanilla sock. So it's a 2x2 rib until I feel it looks good. I do, it's a plain vanilla stockinette leg till A, I'm either tired of knitting the leg, or 2, that looks right to me. And I put my heel flap and gusset. It's just like a knit one, slip one row, and then slip one, purl the rest of the stitches for the rest of the second row, and you just alternate that till you have a square. And then I pick up my heel stitches and your gusset, and I'm at the point where I finished all my gusset decreases, and I'm just knitting the sock. I'm going to see how it fits my foot, because it actually looks a little bit on the small side, and if that's the case, they're going to be my daughter's socks. If that's not the case, if it fits fine, which I think it might, they're going to be mine, because I actually really, surprisingly, like these colors. They're kind of boring colors for me. I like my socks bright. It's fun to me. I like looking down and seeing all these fun stripes and bright colors. I'm not a neon girl, but I like all the different colors. So that's that. Like I said, there's 2 identical 50-gram skeins. Chances are I could probably, we'll see how this one is, but I could probably get a second smaller pair out of these socks. So maybe I'll be able to get a sock for me and for my daughter, or maybe it'll be for my son. We'll see. We'll see what's left. I don't know. Not a whole lot to write about, but I like the way this yarn is knitting up. It feels sturdy, which is nice. I am knitting this up on my size 1 DPNs. These are signature needles, which have a really fantastic point. This is my second pair of socks knitting with them, and the first pair of socks, it kind of took me a little while to get used to them because they are very pointy. They have these stiletto tips, so they're a little on the sharp side. Yeah, I wouldn't want to sit down on these in the dark, but they're nice. They have a good feel. The yarn moves nicely over them, but they've got a little bit of a grip, so it's not like, I don't worry as much about them slipping off like I do with other needles, which is good. But that's it. I hope to get those finished in the next week or so. What else am I working on? I kind of started one more project, and this project is going to be kind of a big project. I am going to be knitting the Knitter's Dude sweater by Andrea Rangel. Now, I know I've mentioned this before because it's been kind of on my plans, my knitting plans for the year. And I'll show you a picture of the sweater. I have the pattern here in front of me. Yesterday I was, going through the pattern and highlighting all the specific instructions for the size that I'm knitting. And this is the sweater. And if you've seen The Big Lebowski, you will notice that it is very reminiscent of the Dude's sweater. And my handsome husband is a huge fan of The Big Lebowski. I mean, seriously, who isn't? But I love The Big Lebowski. But once I saw this pattern when it came out, it's been out for a while, I said, I have got to make that sweater for my husband. And he has been asking me for a new sweater for quite some time. My husband's 6'4". He is not small by any stretch of the imagination. And knitting a sweater for him is quite an undertaking. So I don't do it as often as I should. But, he deserves a sweater. So I'm going to be making him this sweater. I will be making, I don't really know what size you would say, but I'm the chest size 49 inches. And the sweater is designed to be worn with 1 to 4 inches of positive ease. So I think it should fit him fine. Positive ease, in case you don't know, is when you knit something a little bit bigger than it's meant to be. Whereas negative ease, the finished project, is actually a little smaller, so it's more fitted. It stretches a little bit. The more you know, right? So, the size 49 chest circumference. So, yesterday I swatched. Not only did I swatch, I washed and blocked my swatch because I was a real good girl. So, thank goodness I did, because whenever I knit sweaters, I do swatch. Don't get me wrong. Most other things, like socks, I don't swatch. Shawls, I don't swatch. Hats, cowls, I don't really knit cowls that often. I don't swatch for them. Sweaters I do, because I know with certain patterns, I do tend to have to go up a needle size or go down a needle size depending on the designer. And I had never knit anything by this particular designer, so I didn't know what to expect. But I knit the swatch up, and I took my pre-swatch measurements, and I noticed that my swatch was about, maybe, I didn't write it down exactly, maybe about a 1/4 inch too small. I'm like, all right, well, it is wool. It might grow a little bit, as wool tends to do. So I washed it and I blocked it and I let it dry, and it expanded to just the right size, which is nice because I really didn't feel like playing around with needle sizes. So I will be knitting the ribbing on size 5s. The stockinette body calls for size 6s, and I believe the colorwork sections call for a size 7. So I'll be using a bunch of different needle sizes. But let me talk about what yarn I'm using. So I don't have all of it here with me, so bear with me. The main color is going to be this color that I showed you before. So specific, I know. I'm using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes yarn, and this main color is called Oyster Heather. This yarn is a worsted weight. It's 100% Peruvian Highland Wool, and there's about 50 grams in each of these balls, 110 yards to the ball. I'd never used this yarn before. It feels a little woolly. I've only used Knit Picks wool once before, and I used, I want to say it was their heathered, no, maybe not heathered, their stroll base. It's a fingering weight yarn. I didn't knit socks with it. I knit a drop stitch scarf from my sister-in-law some years ago, and I didn't love the yarn. I just felt, well, one, I don't think I would knit socks with it. I think it's 100% superwash wool. I don't quote me because I don't remember. I'd have to really go back in my notes to see what I used. But the colors were great, but I felt the yarn was really splitty. I didn't like the feel of it, and for socks, I felt it wouldn't be hard wearing enough. Shush! Sorry, there's people outside and my dog is barking. So I was kind of on the fence with using the Knit Picks Wool of the Andes yarn. Like I said, I've never used it before. It's got a nice feel to it, and I do like the fabric that came out of it blocked. And the price range, you can't beat that. You really can't. For 100% wool, and for a sweater for my husband, you know, you need a lot of wool, and I really didn't want to spend $200 to make a sweater. I'm sorry. So I didn't. So I'm trying this out, and I know my husband doesn't care about what kind of wool it is. So there. But I like the fabric that's coming up with it. I'm hoping I don't absolutely hate this yarn by the time I finish with the sweater, but we'll see. I like it so far. There we go. But I'm using this Oyster Heather. Do I have the rest of my other colors written down? Because I don't have them with me. Sorry, I'm making a lot of weird noises. Bear with me. Sorry, not sorry. No, I don't think I have them down. But the other colors are black and like a darker, not like dark chocolate brown, but look at the picture. The colors are very similar to that. That's the best I can tell you. I don't have the color names written down. So, you know, it's going to be, this main color is the Oyster Heather, which is very similar. It's going to be the black and brown. So that's what I'm knitting for my husband. Maybe I'll have it done for his birthday in May. I know the last time I knit him a sweater, it took probably close to a year, but it was a very heavily cabled hoodie sweater. Oh, that sweater was absolutely gorgeous. I knitted up out of Rowan yarns, and it was this dark, like charcoal, maybe slate gray, I'd say, and very heavily cabled, really gorgeous. I steal it from him now and again, and I love it. He does too. He doesn't wear it as often. He's funny about wearing head knits. He's getting better with the socks, but he's worried about wearing them out. And to me, I say, wear them out. Do it. That's the point. So I can make you new ones. But he's always worried about it. So that's my next big cast on. Hoping to cast that on later on this afternoon. Now that sweater is a steeked cardigan. I have never steeked a garment before, and if you don't know, that's when you knit the sweater in a round, knit the sweater in the round, so a big tube, and I believe you reinforce the front, like where the bed band and stuff would be, and you cut it. It makes me a little nervous. I will be 100% honest. I've heard, from what I have read, that you want stickier wool. for that kind of thing. You don't want to use superwash wools or something silky that's gonna like slip right off. So this yarn does seem to have a little bit of grip, so I'm hoping that that should be okay. I'm a little nervous about the whole process, being as I've never done it before. I'm sure it'll be fine, but if you guys have ever steeked anything before, I am a-okay with you guys giving me a pep talk. Please do. That's where I'm at. I've never done that before, so hopefully that'll be okay. Otherwise, that's really all the knitting that I have to talk about. I talked about last week how I finished up my Cocoa dress by Tilly and the Buttons, and I did wear it to the baby shower on last weekend. I was gonna say, what day of the weekend was it? I don't remember. I think it was Sunday. We had a lot of fun at the bridal shower, and everybody, I got so many compliments on the dress. I did notice with wear, and this would be a fitting issue that I would have to fix next time if I were to make this dress again, but I did notice that the fabric was bunching a little bit in the back. Actually, my husband noticed and pointed out. The fabric actually though feels really good. It's really cozy. I can see myself wearing that dress just about every day, so I'm hoping that that goes well. I wouldn't mind making a few more of those, maybe some in solids, maybe in different patterns, different colors. I like cozy dresses that you can wear with tights and boots. To me, it's like wearing pajamas and nobody else gets it. Nobody knows you're wearing pajamas. It's like getting away with a secret, and I love it. But that's that. What else? I did not mention at the beginning of the episode, but we do have a group on Ravelry for this podcast, so if you haven't checked it out, please do, and come say hello. I do post the show notes there as well as down below in the show description here. I did have some people after last week's episode tell me, say hello, and I was so glad to hear from you guys. Keep doing more of it. I'll try to add some more little forum posts to kind of start some conversations. I like hearing from you guys. I like knowing that I'm not talking to myself, if that makes sense. But that's that. I don't think I really have anything else to talk about. I have, like I said, there's no school next week, so both my kids will be home, and I'm really looking forward to that. We're going to be going upstate to my parents' house for a few days next week, and their neighbors have chickens and goats, and my mom actually has to help take care of them for the following week when they go away. We're going to go over and scope it out and see how to get the eggs and feed the goats, and my kids are really, really excited about that. So that should be exciting. And that's about it. So I hope you guys all have a great weekend. I look forward to hearing from you guys about what you're working on, and if you want to say hello, please do. If you like the video, make sure you subscribe and comment below if you have anything you'd like to share. Have a great weekend. Bye!